Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Brian over here at the Little Orchard Farm, and welcome back. Or should I say, it's great for us to be back. We've been gone on a 9-month hiatus, life getting in the way, work, whatnot, but we're back. We're looking forward to getting back to sharing some awesome content with you guys. And let me just say, there's been plenty to go along and share. And there's no shortage of good, bad, or ugly going on around here. And so we look forward to catching up a little bit with you guys. But let me say quickly, in our return, we're going to do a little bit, we're going to shake things up a little bit with our videos. In the years past, we've always focused on bringing you along on our journey of establishing our homestead, whether it was the cabin, chickens, whatever the case might be. And man, I think it's time for a shakeup. I think it's time for us to change things up a little bit. So we're going to spend a little bit more time on the educational lessons learned and project-based content I think most of you are probably searching for, instead of the Little House on the Prairie storyline. And I find that hard to blame you. I wouldn't want to be looking for that content either, to be quite honest with you. So as an example of what we're going to be doing moving forward, over the months past, no, let's go back a year, when we were actually milling some of our lumber up on our woodland mill, sawmill. Tons of lumber. And as you can see, I'm almost done getting the shop done. I got walls going, finishing up some of the walls. I got to do some painting and whatnot, but we're getting close. All the equipment is here. I just got to get it wrapped up. And in doing so, I want to build some farm-based projects that we'll be implementing here around the farm. And I want to bring you along for that. Also, Karen is actually chomping at the bit to do a Kubota tractor series dedicated to all you tractor-loving ladies out there, which I think will be awesome and very, very educational. So stay tuned for all of that content coming soon. And in the meantime, make sure you pop that subscription button below, and that way you'll be notified for when we release new videos. We'd greatly appreciate that for sure. And finally, before we get to the main content of today's video, I want to encourage you to stay tuned to the very, very end. There's a huge announcement about some future plans for our little farm that's going to make an enormous, huge impact for not only us, but maybe for you as well. All right, let's do this. So nearly 2 years ago, I did a video covering Cedar Apple Rust, and I'll pop the card above here. So if you're interested in seeing that one, go for it. It was really, I think, educational, to be quite honest. But this disease was impacting several of our apple trees, and I wanted to determine if there was a way to prevent CAR and what to do once we had infected trees. And as it turned out, there's not really a lot that you can do once your trees are infected with CAR, at least during the growing season. And for the highly susceptible cultivars, there's little that can be done to protect them without spending an inordinate amount of time combating it. So we ultimately chose to remove those trees and replace them with robust, disease-resistant cultivars. Our thoughts were really simple. It's going to save us a ton of time. It's going to promote a healthy orchard and ultimately provide us an abundance of hardy fruit. Plus, rather optimistically, it will rid us of Cedar Apple Rust from our orchard for good. The first question I had to answer was which trees of ours were Cedar Apple Rust susceptible? And secondly, what could I replace them with? I did a real simple search for CAR susceptibility online, and I found a nice resource that I use to determine prone varieties. And I'll pop that in the link below if you're interested in checking that out. But this resource is not only good for finding out which of your trees are highly susceptible, but also for finding suitable replacement varieties. And that's exactly what I did. Once I found how many varieties were going to be impacted and ultimately removed in our orchard, which included our Galas, our Fujis, and our Golden Delicious, I needed to find some suitable replacements that would be far more resistant to CAR and eliminate or alleviate our problem. The solution, well, I found 3 Scion varieties called Liberty, Red Free, and Enterprise, grafted onto a Geneva 890, G890 root stock. Now the rootstock is a semi-dwarfing rootstock, and it's resistant to fire blight, crown rot, woolly apple aphid, and of course, you guessed it, cedar apple rust. All right, so let's discuss the techniques that I use to replace the trees with my 3 new disease-resistant cultivars. I'm going to show you some clips of me doing some of this stuff as we go along, but really simple, to be honest with you. To remove the tree, I simply use my shovel to break the ground up around the tree and snap the lateral and the tap roots to make it easy to lift the tree from the hole. With young trees, this was not a huge issue. I also made sure to remove any roots remaining in the ground that I could find, as to not have any contamination left behind for my new trees. I ended up burning the trees that I removed to ensure that no cedar apple rust residual remained. To plant my new trees, I simply spread the bare root systems out into the hole. And here's a quick tip about planting depth for grafted trees. You'll want to plant the grafted tree approximately 2 to 3 inches up from the soil line to the graft section. If the tree is planted too deep and the graft union is below the ground, that actual scion side of it will actually take form and will begin to form roots rather, and that tree will become a standard size tree and will probably take on its susceptibilities as well. So it will be CAR susceptible. It's a lot of hard work for nothing. So to make sure that I had plenty of soil to get the raised depth that I was looking for, I used regular topsoil mixed in with the soil removed from my hole to ensure that I had a nice composition of loamy soil. Now this store-bought soil that I purchased contained no fertilizer. I really want the roots to grow downward in search for those nutrients and not become hole-bound. I did include a little bit of fish emulsion in the hole to invigorate root growth. I then made sure to tamp down the soil firmly around the tree to eliminate air pockets. I watered in the trees thoroughly, tamped them down again after the water settled, and then watered again. At this point, you may choose to add a layer of mulch around the base to help retain moisture and control weeds. Plus, it looks kind of cool. Now, to ensure the success of the trees, I'll water them daily for the first few weeks, making sure that I am watering in thoroughly, but then I'll back off to only watering a couple of times a week as the spring progresses. This should give the tree ample opportunity to get a nice established root system. And boom, that's it. We have finally solved, or at least mitigated, our cedar apple rust issue. Now, I will tell you that this little misstep in planting the trees that were not optimal for our neck of the woods, it cost us about $200 in the tree cost. Obviously, time to do all this activity of pulling them and replanting, and of course, about 1.5 to 2 years of growth, setting us back on enjoying some of that unbelievable apple fruit by about 1.5 years. And on the positive side of this, as we continue to learn these lessons, we are now better educated on how and what to look for when it comes to our front-end research for our apples or whatever fruit it might be. And we're going to be much more selective about the choices that we have for our little orchard. At the first of the video, I mentioned some exciting news that we wanted to share with you all. And no need to wait any longer. After raising our own meat birds for a couple of years now, we've realized just how much better truly pasture-raised chicken tastes over the commercially raised birds. I mean, it's really no comparison. The meat is nutrient-dense, higher in omega-3 fatty acids and monounsaturated fat, and just plain juicier. I mean, I could share all the ways that I think that these two different ways, commercial versus small farm, pasture-raised poultry, differ in growth practices, feed conversion rates, environmental differences, animal stress, humane practices. We'll leave that for another day. But what we do know is that our birds have been humanely cared for, raised on pasture salad, bugs, and other yummy natural fodder. They've enjoyed a beautiful stay on the farm, enjoying sunlight and fresh air, and they were kept stress-free right up until their final day. And with that notion, Karen had an epiphany. And she asked, why would we not share our chickens with others? I mean, we believe in the farm-to-table movement, being instrumental in providing for the local community, just as we believe that this food-centric ideology is critical for healthy communities. So this summer, we're going to plan on offering our pasture-raised poultry to the masses, or at least to our community here in North Alabama. That's right. We're going to go to the farmer's market. I love me some farmer's market. Whoop, whoop. All right. So one last ask. We've put together a little website that is going to kind of promote our little poultry business. And you can find that at www.thelittleorchard.farm. So after you're finished watching this video, hey, pop on over there, check it out, and let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this little video. We are back, and we love it. And we'll see you guys again next week. So in the meantime, hope you guys have a wonderful week. Very blessed week. Until we see you again the next time, we will see ya.